checking if I... Yeah, welcome to the stream. Today I want to do a few things. I want to check on seedlings that I have already here. Then we're cleaning some cactus seeds that I have on the side. I have hundreds of crosses that I need to clean now. Yeah, so we will do that too. But for now, I'm just doing general stream, checking on seedlings, and yeah, later we will move them back to the plant lamp again. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hey Dave, good morning. Hope you're all right. Hey, good morning, mate. Yeah, today I want to do a few things. I want to continue checking the seedlings because I didn't finish it yesterday, and I also brought some seeds that I want to clean. So yeah, we will start with cleaning seeds too, because if I do it offline, I will never do it. When I do it online, then I have a reason to do it, you know. So yeah, want to continue checking on the seedlings. This one, they have grown, but not a lot. Sometimes the cross stays behind, you know. Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. I don't know what it is with, like, after the weekend. All pretty rough still. But yeah, unfortunately, haven't won the lottery either over the weekend. My grandfather, he used to play the lottery a lot. He always walked down to town to give in like the his numbers, you know, when he played the lottery, and he always did it with a smile. He walked through town with the biggest smile, you know. That's a good kind of mindset that he had. But he never won, unfortunately, you know. That's how it is sometimes. But the mindset really helped him, probably. Yeah, so these are looking great. These are from my own cross, by the way. Yeah, this is cool. Very healthy seedlings. Really looking forward to that. Great to have when you have a very good cross and you see that you get a lot of seedlings from it. That's a great feeling. So yeah, over here, I believe Kami is sleeping on the cacti, on the cactus seedlings. I really do believe she's taking a break there every now and then. And when I come, they are completely flat. I've posted something similar, like a memory from a few years ago, and now I see it again. I can kind of see the pattern. I think Kami is sleeping on the cactus seedlings every now and then. So they are pretty flat here. And in this one, there's a fungus gnat. Really, really bad that it got in. We'll see how it goes. Sometimes you can save the seedlings nonetheless, but sometimes not. I just hope we're lucky, because this is probably, I mean, these are all good crosses. So no matter what we lose something great. What's this? Yeah, Uwe Karle cross. I would rather not lose them, so maybe we can still save them despite the fact that we have fungus gnats in there. If you would want to solve that problem chemically, I think the seedlings would not make it. So we need to just keep an eye out, maybe remove the fungus gnats from the bag. It's a bad solution, but at this point, in this stage, there's no great alternative. I'm not sure. Yeah, Dave, sometimes like YouTube does this automatic feature where it holds some messages for for moderation, and since I do not have a moderator yet, it's still sometimes messages do not come through, you know, especially when it's, you know, it goes after certain words. So yeah, just write something else. I don't know. I can't really say what kind of words YouTube is like doesn't like or likes. But if you know your own sentence, maybe write it differently, you know, to come around that, you know. I'm still very new to this. I was just experimenting whether I turn the stream camera horizontally or vertically. So everything is still new. I'm not sure how most people stream, probably like horizontally, right? So maybe we will do that in the future. But today I wanted to do it like this still. But yeah, long term, maybe we will change to the horizontal mode, because I guess it shows more of what's going on. So yeah, I want to clean seeds now. Want to do that first. So I brought me this kind of thing. No, wait. Let's get this. And I want to. I've dried the seeds on a paper towel. These are old cactus seeds from the current season, like still from this year. And I want to clean them up. I've already cleaned them with water, but sometimes that is just the first step. Sometimes you also need to lay them out on paper and remove everything that is problematic, that could cause problems when you're sowing out, you know. So I want to do that now, and then we continue checking on some seedlings. Yeah, general questions, just write them in the chat. If not, we're just doing a little bit work here, you know, classic kind of cactus work. So yeah, this is the remnants from one of the crosses where I did the first clean. Sometimes you need a second clean, but yeah, there's all this, like this is from the flower, from the fruit, hair and wool. Cactus fruits, these kind of cactus fruits often have wool, and when you're cleaning the seed, sometimes it gets into the sieve. So yeah, but you can easily sort it out when it dries. You just put it on paper, and yeah, on like cleaning paper, whatever, the kitchen paper, and that and the remnants, the organic material and all that, what isn't seeds, it often stays on the paper towel, on the kitchen towel, and that allows you to clean it a little. So now I have it on paper, and I'm just removing all the dust, all the debris. I just want to have the seeds, so I'm rolling them around on paper to see, because the seeds are round and the seeds kind of have the tendency to roll, and everything that isn't round, or the flat seeds that don't come up, they just have, they don't roll around, you know. So you can roll the seeds on one side and the rest will stay in center, and you can dust it off, brush it off. That is my way of cleaning seeds. And I often do the first cleaning underwater with a sieve. And but since I sometimes miss the time right to clean them right at the beginning, it can become harder to clean the seeds. The longer you wait, the more you have a rotting fruit, the more it becomes a problem to clean it. So, and this is how you do it. If that was the case, you clean it first. Try to get rid of maybe half of the material, of the remnants from the fruit, from the like whatever is left that shouldn't be in your seed, and you know, you run it through a sieve with water hitting from above, and you push the fruit matter and pulp through the sieve, and then whatever is left you let dry on a piece of kitchen paper, and then you get the next step where you can just clean it like we do now. And this is just a few seeds from one cross. It's not many. But yeah, sometimes you have that. Okay, so let me see. I brought me a bag for the seeds, but I can't see where I put it. Oh, here, yeah. Okay, so I brought me a few bags of seeds, like seed bags for the seeds. But yeah, this is pretty clean already. I mean, there's still a little bit of dust here and there. You could continue cleaning it up some more. The longer you do it, the more likely you will have a better rate of germination. And yeah, you could also do a second run under the sieve, let it dry again, then they are perfectly clean. But sometimes you don't even need to do that. So now I'm just looking at the piece of paper to see if there are any more seeds that I haven't gotten off here. And these I will put into the bag. There are a few seeds here and there, but most of the ones that are in there are not viable. So I got most of the viable seeds off already. But yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is how we cleaned this first one. Got to label the bag. Oh man, I don't think I have the right kind of pen. I'm not sure that this writes. No. Gotta get me another pen for later. I don't think I can do this now, so I will just put this bag here onto this piece of paper and we're doing the next one. Okay. So this is a Wurlitz Cantora cross, and this one was better cleaned. See? You mostly see the seeds. A little bit of fruit material here and there, but nothing big. I've eaten like my beard. It's the first time I have a beard like this, and the one thing that stuck out for me was how often you start chewing on your own beard, or how often you try to eat and you don't get it through the beard. So you need to constantly cut your mouth, like it's like you're trimming a hedge, and you gotta create a way for the food to get into your mouth. That is something I didn't think it would be like that when you have a beard, you know? I don't know. I was surprised. Also, how often you just have beard in your mouth, you know? It's not really comfortable. But I like it. I like having a beard, you know? Like, I was just looking too much of a, I don't know, it was just too boring. I feel like the beard helps me a little bit, like with the way I look, you know. It's, I don't know. Sometimes the face just looks better with a beard, and I feel like it's the case here. Yeah, but I really don't like how difficult it makes it to eat. So yeah, okay. Yeah, and we'll see what we do with the current seeds from this season. Maybe we're donating some. We'll see how that goes. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, and later we will continue cleaning checking the seedlings that we have under the lamp. It's just, there's so much stuff that I need to do. And that seed cleaning is usually the kind of thing that I did while I was packing seeds. And now that I'm not doing it anymore, I need to make sure that it is done, because otherwise you have all these seeds and you do nothing with them. And that would really be sad. I mean, I've spoken about it yesterday. It's a great feeling when you see a new hybrid from you flowering, and when you miss a year, like where you do not give away seeds at all. Yeah, you're starting to have years where there's nothing that is flowering, and I don't like that. So I try to maybe get back to just sharing seeds again soon. So I wanna, but first we need to get them to a point where they can be donated. You know, you can't send them on paper towels and that kind of stuff. So we need to do that now. Okay. No, this is this one. And yeah, if you have general questions, write them in the comments. I'm happy to answer. If not, this is the last one, and then we will get back to this to the seedling containers. I'm not sure if we're sowing out today, because everything is full of seedling containers that we need to check first. Maybe we will do this first and start sowing out again in a few days. If some of you have started sowing out with me, like at the same time, you might be in a similar position where you have a bunch of seedlings and it's starting to get full everywhere. That's the case. That's the case here right now. But yeah, I just wanted to say yesterday I had a lot of fun with the stream. It was really great. It's starting to become like this kind of tradition every day, and I enjoy it, you know. So about my bathroom window, I just wanted to give you some updates. I have ordered some of the screws to fix the bathroom window. I have tried to get spare parts for that thing, but it's really difficult. And yeah, I hope it can be fixed, because I don't want to spend Christmas without the window. That would be pretty ghetto. I don't want that. So yeah, we're currently still working on fixing the window, but you need to have a few people to do it, and we first need to like make it, you know, make a plan when everyone has time at the same time, and then we'll see if we can fix it. But that is the thing that stuck out to me, you know. If you like, when you have a lot of money, you just call a company and you tell them, hey guys, I want to have that window replaced. No questions asked, just please do it. And if you, when you are not in that position, when things aren't so great, like financially, like right now, everyone's broke, you know, it has become such a huge thing to just replace a window or just get a window fixed, you know. I was really shocked by how difficult this has been in the last week. I tried to find like someone who works on the window, repairs it. This fly is really, it's overdoing it. Every now and then I have no problem when there's a fly, but this is a little bit pushing it. So yeah, it's been really hard to get that window fixed. I can only tell you, when you don't have a lot of money, everything becomes a huge problem. That is something that you have to experience to know how it is, you know. Even the easiest things can become difficult, because if you can't do it yourself, then there's no way you can do it sometimes. So I hope that at some point that window will be in there. If not, I'm doing a Christmas special sitting in my bathroom without the window. That will be the Christmas stream. I'll put a little tree beside it, and we'll put a little cake beside me, and that will be the Christmas special. So, but I hope I can avoid it. Maybe we can get around that. So yeah, let me get some more seedlings, and then we'll check them. I already brought them here. All different kinds of age. Some are 2 weeks old, some are 4 weeks old. I think nothing is much older than 4 weeks. But yeah, we have a lot of seedlings now that we planted, and they are all great. We really need to find a way to grow them out, because everything that we have here, one plant could be amazing. That is the thing with when you're getting good seeds, you know. Sometimes 10 seedlings can be like an immense value to you as a breeder, because they often have a wide range in regards to the flower color. And yeah, but you don't have space for so many seedlings, so we have to find a way to grow as many as we can, get them to flower long term. And when you know, if you imagine, like in one such a container here, there are maybe 50 seedlings. If you have 50 seedlings and you transplant them later, you can imagine how much space that needs. Because if you imagine 50 larger cacti, and that is just one cross. So if you want to keep a lot of seedlings from one cross, you better have a lot of space, because otherwise you probably should limit how many seedlings you keep per cross. At some point you will run out of grow space, and so make sure you look into every cross very well, and decide wisely which seedlings you will keep and which ones you won't. So yeah. Okay, so here's a cross. And I find the seedlings look a little bit interesting. They have this reddish kind of color. Might just be stress. Like sometimes when cactus seedlings are stressed, they get this reddish response to sunlight. I see it as a mere indicator for stress, and it can mean that it's getting cold. It can mean that it's too sunny. Can mean that they had a little bit of frost, that they didn't have enough water. These kinds of things can all have to do with when a seedling turns red, and they rarely turn red very early on. So when they do, it can mean there's a genetic thing that these are more prone to. Maybe they are variegated. That could be, or it's just very stressed in a genetic sense. So yeah. Keeping an eye on that cross. Let me see what it is. It's a cross with Caesar by Uwe Kahler. Good cross. I mean, I've shown one seedling with Caesar this year, one plant that flowered, and it had a nice color, like pink stripes in a way. Was good, but the flower was a little bit smaller. But I still see potential in Caesar. Really decent plant. So yeah, here are more. And here's a similar thing. You see that a lot of seedlings are green, but there's a few that have reddish dots at the tip. Also can be a sign of stress. And the ones that are reddish are a lot smaller than the ones that are fully green. So I think that maybe it's just a sign that some seedlings aren't taking off like others do. And when the lamp hits them, then maybe it's a little bit too much stress for them. But if they are in a closed bag, it shouldn't be a problem. If you see that red color, it doesn't mean that you have to stop, that you have to take them out of the sun. But it gives you an indicator that something is stressing them. And if you can explain it, if you have reasons for it, and find a way to stop it from getting worse, then you can leave them where they are, like in full sun. Let's say you start watering them more often when you see that reddish coloration. Or sometimes plants turn reddish as a response to frost or cold temperatures. If you can kind of get the temperature a little bit up, that can solve the problem. But the reddish discoloration is not something that would really bother me just by itself. It's just a sign. It tells you something, but that is all. These all look great. One of the best containers. No fungus gnat. I like that when I open up a container and there's nothing flying in my face. That is a good thing. Okay. So yeah, hope everything's great for you. Thank you all for being in the stream. If you have questions, just write them in the chat. If not, we're just here checking on the seedlings again. So here, these are just a few days old. This is as young as it gets. They are just come up maybe a few days ago, and there are still some that are coming, that are germinating over time. So I will put that under the lamp again. Okay. Yeah, here is a nice situation where you can see that there are two seedlings, one here and one here, that have grown a little, that are growing faster than the others. And that happens sometimes, and I really recommend singling them out. That can be great, because they apparently have a little bit more strength than the others. But apart from that, nothing really unusual in this bag. They are looking great. I'm happy about how our seedlings look. so far we haven't really run into any problems. We've just put the cactus seeds into the soil, induced germination, and that was it. So yeah, very good. Very happy about that. So let me get the others and we'll check them too. Okay, these are the last ones, and then we see if we find new containers at the oven where we have germination that I haven't moved away. Because the moment you have germination at the heat source, you want to make sure that it's not getting too hot for the seedlings, because it can be super hot to induce germination. They can take that very often, the seeds, it's just seeds in the beginning, and seeds have a higher resistance to kind of heat. But the moment you have a living seedling, you don't want to have it at the heat source too long. Otherwise, you will eventually lose it again. Like for example, when you have one seedling and you try to put that to the heat source again because you feel like there could be more seedlings that you can get out of it. But eventually, very often you don't get the seedlings, then you lose that one that you have too. So be careful about heat. These look great again. Already have spines, but there's one seedling that I don't like really, that is on the side, which we might lose. But as long as we check on them on a regular basis, we will notice if we lose that seedling. So for now, it's okay. So here, very young seedlings, just germinated. So not really something where we can do something. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, these look great. Different sizes of seedlings. What I always find interesting, how you have two that are like twice or thrice the size of the others. But it happens a lot with seedlings. Apparently, not all seedlings are equal. Some of them just don't have enough energy or need a little bit longer. But it is important to remind you that when you grow these kind of seedlings, the strongest seedling doesn't always have the best flower. Sometimes it can be worth it to save a weak seedling, because just because a seedling has the best growth rates and all that, it means nothing when it's about the flower. And a lot of the crosses here try to get the best possible flower. By the way, this morning I saw a nice hybrid on Facebook by my friend Torsten from Australia, Torsten Wiedemann. He posted a hybrid with between a column and huasha, Serenzia huasha, and it had white ragged flowers, and I loved that. There aren't so many hybrids between a columnar body, columnar mother, and a funky flower, a ragged flower. So that cross that Torsten made himself, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, it now flowered and it has a ragged flower. And I really hope that he can propagate the plant, because that's pretty rare, and the body looked interesting too. So yeah, apparently Serenzia huasha is a species that sometimes produces ragged flowers, because the mother didn't have ragged flowers, the father didn't have ragged flowers. It was just a huasha, classic kind of huasha. And yeah, so, and I've seen other huasha hybrids with ragged flowers, like the hybrids by Thomas Stöfer. Thomas Stöfer made a few hybrids that also have ragged flowers and involve Serenzia huasha. So far, most of the hybrids on the market that are ragged have something like that involved. I don't know what it is about that species, but maybe it's in the genetic code that it sometimes brings out ragged flowers too. So I found that interesting, and I love to see that hybrid. because he's a friend of mine. He helped me before when I was like, you know, a nobody, even worse than today. So yeah, I'm happy that he raised that thing because it is a cool plant. So yeah, these are the last ones. Looking pretty healthy. Everything looks great so far. We have barely lost a seedling in what we've grown, and that is amazing. They will go under the lamp again, and we'll see how that goes. So now I want to check on some of the new ones where we induced germination. They are straight beside the oven. So let me just check on them a little. But it's possible that they still need a little bit longer. Here's some more. Okay. So yeah, let's see. Nothing. A lot of these are new. Here we have three or four. We will need to open that up just to see how it goes. Oh, and a fungus gnat. Something is wrong with this bag of soil, and that is why pasteurization of soil can be good. You would have prevented that if by pasteurization, you're just using boiled water, putting boiled water over the soil. So yeah, we will probably get a different kind of soil next time. I hate when that happens. Normally, when you buy a bag of sowing soil, it should not have anything in it. There should not be any eggs. There should not be fungus gnats already in the soil. That is a quality problem, if you ask me. Quality control problem. Because if what use, you know, how can you use sowing soil if it's already contaminated, you know? So yeah. But maybe since that the soil that we're working with now isn't sowing soil, maybe they haven't treated it the way they would treat other soil. We'll see. Here's something where we have tiny seedlings in the corner. Tiny seedlings. They're even smaller than everything else here. Yeah, but we will move that under the lamp. That's enough seedlings for me. The moment I see 5 to 10 seedlings in a container, then I feel like, okay, we can work with that. Then I move it under the lamp, and under the lamp you also get a little bit heat and light from the lamp, and that also can bring up more germinations. Okay, so these go back to the oven. Let's get more. Nothing. Very few seedlings that have come up in the last days. We just have to have more patience. And I hate patience. I never had it. As a cactus breeder, it helps when you have patience. Looks a little bit dry. Or maybe a little bit more water. That's something that you need to do too when you have sown something out and you check the bags to see if there's any germination, and the soil is too dry, then you need to react, need to add more water. Because if the soil is too dry, nothing will come up, even if you hit the right temperature. So, okay, so here's one where we have a lot of seedlings, and I like that. Do you see? And all just come up. First, really the very first stage of cactus seedlings. Just soils, like the seeds sprinkled on top of the soil, a little bit of light and heat, and then they are like this. And in 2 weeks, they will be maybe like twice the size, and in 4 weeks they will already have their first set of spines, and that is when things are going towards a point when it's a little bit safer for them. Now in the beginning, it's a very dangerous time for cactus seedlings. So yeah. Okay, so these go on the oven again. Okay. So yeah, we could maybe sow out a little bit more, or could clean a few more seeds. I think that's what I will do. I will get more seeds to clean because we're already fully booked with the sowing out. We will continue to sow out in a few days, but so today we are cleaning cactus seeds. So let me get a few more of these paper towels that I have with seeds on them. Okay. So yeah, let's start here. Over here I collected some kiwis, seeds of kiwis. I want to grow kiwi in the garden. Feel like that's a cool fruit, and it should handle some frost. So I want to remove these from the paper towel. Then you really sometimes when there was a lot of fruit material, you need to scrape them off the paper towel. Sometimes with a little coin, with something like that, with a little, like with a card, a membership card from a fitness studio where you never go, where you always pay but never go, that kind of stuff. But carefully, it can break. But if you never go, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I want to sow out kiwi sometime soon. Feel like they could be great. I think they can take. I've seen people grow them here in a climate where the temperatures go down to minus 15 Celsius. So that's pretty great. I'm not really eating a lot of fruit, but I like having them in the garden, planting them. It's great for the animals around, and every now and then, if you need a few vitamins, kiwi are great for that too. So yeah, happy to take questions if you want to use the chat, make use of it. It's there. If not, we will just continue to clean this stuff. Cleaning cactus seeds for now. With our cactus seedlings that we planted, nothing really, there are no problems, that's a great thing sometimes. Cactus seedlings are hard to grow long term, but they are easy to sow out. The easiest part of this whole process is inducing the germination, but it gets difficult the moment they get older and they need more space. I think one of the biggest problems and the biggest risks for seedlings will be that you run into space problems. So always make sure you have enough space for whatever you are sowing out, because they will need to be singled out at some point, because otherwise they will thin themselves out. If you keep them in a container too long, when they are too packed together, at some point something will happen. One slug that takes a bite out of a cactus seedling, and the whole thing will turn into a problem, like where you have a fungal infection in center, because the seedling that was attacked was in center, and then it's just a matter of time until something happens to the others. I really recommend singling out. That is something that I would love to do more, but I don't have space, So the goal is to build a greenhouse where we can single out the seedlings that we grow. And yeah, everyone who sows out at home with us here, make sure you have space. You can fill a greenhouse within 1 year. Really, if you're sowing out and you do it right, grow them in winter under the lamp and then move them in the greenhouse, you could fill that thing within 1 year. I mean, it would still take 5 years for them to be tall enough to flower, but the whole greenhouse would be full with seedlings. I still remember when I got my greenhouse and was able to fill it. It was a great feeling, and it was over so fast. So yeah. In the future, we might stream like horizontally. I'm still not sure what is better and what people do on YouTube. If that is even a thing, like streaming like that. I don't know the difference, you know? I mean, I feel like it might make sense outside. When we're outside, we're probably streaming horizontally anyway, when we're walking in the garden. And there's a lot of stuff that we need to do. We might do the next one of the next streams outside, and then I will talk less and just do some garden stuff and let the camera roll. Okay. So now we have a lot of kiwi seeds. I'm always impressed how many seeds you get with just one fruit. That is great. Want to clean it up a little bit more. There's still some fruit material left here. Removing that. Okay. So, next one. And thank you all for joining us. We have a lot of people on the stream today. I do this every day, or I try to do it every day. And we'll see how it goes. Trying to also include the chat, so you know it's open. And yeah, if not, we're just continuing to sow out or do anything we do here. Okay, so here's a cross. No label. I hate that. That's really bad. I'm not sure. Sometimes you want to write the label and then you forget, you know. So we'll see. Probably a Telegonoides hybrid with how many seeds are in there. A lot of small seeds also. I don't know what that is, man. I wish I'd know, but I suspect it is something like a Gräser hybrid or Telegonoides. It always happens to me that I forget to label one or two of them. When you make hundreds of crosses, that always happens. Always need to make sure I have a pen at the spot where I put the seeds, because within 10 minutes I have forgotten it. It's probably a symptom. I'm sure they will name that after me one day. Like when they finally diagnose what's going on there, what's wrong with me there. But I forget stuff within 10 minutes. It's really bad. Like I'm trying to do something, or when I watch a scene in a movie, I watch it and I realize I missed it, and then I like rewind, and while I watch it again, I forget it again and do something else. I don't know if that's normal. I don't think so. So yeah, so every now and then I forget to label the seeds too. Okay, but there are a lot of seeds, so, and this is how these kind of mystery packs of seeds happen, like what Misplant that did too with his mystery seeds pack. Every now and then you just forget to label them. You know, you have it in your head and think, I don't need to write that down. I will remember. And of course you don't. Of course not. So yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what I put on the label. What really stands out to me is how small they are. So it probably is something like Telegonoides. I have one or two where I remember having forgotten to write it down, and I think it could be something like that, but we will never know for sure. So these will go to people as a mystery, kind of as mystery seeds. Okay. But we got a lot of great seeds this year. It was a great a great year for seeds, a great year for crosses. Very happy. I mean, it's always more seeds than you can sow out as a breeder. But this year was really unusually. There were some plants that flowered and set seeds where I never thought that we would be able to get seeds from them. So that was great. Okay, so the next one. What does that mean? Oh yeah, this is Isla del Sol. Isla del Sol has a very beautiful population. And this year I had two fruit on my plant, on my Isla del Sol mother plant that I have. And I got that plant from a friend, from a late friend. He's no longer with us. Passed away maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago already. And I got a few plants from him while he was still alive, and they were very good. And one was that Isla del Sol. They probably belong to Brigesi, but maybe they don't, you know. People should look into them genetically, comparing them, because there are very visible differences. You know, I've had them in my book, and I've shown them, and in my opinion, they are different enough that they could be a separate species. We need to look. We need to do a DNA testing, and just to see if maybe they are not separate, because they very well could be a separate species, like the way they grow at that isolated place at Isla del Sol, at Lake Titicaca, you know, that Bolivian lake. Really, really nice population. And to me, they don't look like Brigesi. They look like they are related to it, but that is it. They might be something that shares a common ancestor, for example, or it could be a direct relative. The last thing I heard about that population was that that they consider describing it as a separate species. People who, you know, who write these descriptions, that they are aware of it and are aware of the differences that there are. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I believe it's probably similar, like it is with the population at the Rio Misque, like Rio Miscensis, that kind of population. They might belong to Brigesi too, connected to it genetically, but not the same. I'm sure there's some kind of genetic range within, like, where you at some point where you can say, okay, this should be a separate species, you know. And I'm really looking forward to seeing DNA testing, but so far I haven't seen it. So far I haven't seen anything done with these kinds of plants. And my mother plant that I got, that came, I think, from older seeds, Friedrich Ritter, something like that, you know. And that one has been flowering for the first time this year, I think, and the first time both of them grew fruit. I was very happy, and I pollinated with all kinds of colorful hybrids just to get fruit, and I was successful in getting it. So yeah, now we're cleaning them. But there's still a lot of fruit material left. Should have cleaned it a little better. Or maybe should have let it dry longer. Yeah, this is looking good. A lot of seeds. I mean, would be great to get something like that plant with a colored flower. So these will also be donated in some form. I'm not sure how, but I will donate them at a later time. As soon as I'm ready for winter, as soon as I have a window again, that kind of stuff. So yeah, but these are also interesting. This is the type of stuff that I would also personally sow out, because the population is rare by itself, and you don't see them very often. I haven't seen them since Sacred Succulents had them in 2010 or so. 2010, they were at that population, if I remember correctly, and I haven't seen them ever since showing up on any kind of seed list, anything like that. It is a rare population that you do not see very often. If I can say one thing, the seeds are big. I feel like the seeds look a little bit bigger than the seeds of Bridgesi. They look more like the seeds of Peruvianus than they look like the seeds of Bridgesi. But I need to compare them. The way I saw seeds of Bridgesi, of Echinopsis laginiformis, that species, the seeds were smaller. And these are very big. And from what I've seen recently, the size of the seeds can be used to tell a little bit about the genetic situation, about the relatives. In the past, this was highly debated. You know, people were arguing if the seeds can really tell you something about where they connect genetically, but they can. They can. It's just something, certain species produce a totally different seed size than others. So that can really help you to kind of think about where could they belong genetically, just from comparing the size of the seeds. But yeah, there's still too much fruit matter here. I think about cleaning these for a second time. Underwater, maybe. We'll see. This is a really dirty job here. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll put these aside. I think these need to go underwater again. When you have seeds that are so still dirty after the first round, you need to do a second one. If you sow them out with too much fruit material attached to it, it will cause a fungal infection. That is not what I really want to do here. So yeah, let me put this aside. Here's another one. This is the second cross, also with Isla del Sol. Looks a little bit better, so maybe we can get that better, clean that better off the sheet and all. But also a lot of fruit material here too. Both were very big fruits. You always have to be careful when you scrape the seeds off the paper towel and let them drop on a piece of paper. They will roll off the paper. I can see all these seeds everywhere here. when the seeds are very dry, you can just fold it in center and try to loosen them like this here in center of the paper. And then when you're done, you just roll them on the piece of paper. That way you can control their direction a little bit better. That trajectory. But yeah, sometimes it helps to have something like this in this shape, you know, like this, with such a where you can just let everything drop in, so it doesn't, so the seeds do not roll down on the edges. But yeah, for now, would you just do it like that? Okay, like this. I keep dropping seeds left and right, but I don't want to waste them. They are good seeds. This is good stuff. You can really tell the difference if I had two different kind of seeds here besides each other. I could tell you which one belongs to this cross and which one belongs to the other, just because they have a different kind of size, you know. The seed size is really telling. So yesterday I saw something interesting on Facebook. Someone was posting posting a photo of a mushroom that usually has gills, a gill species, you know, that has evolved to have gills, but in this case there was a mutation that led to it having having pores, like these roundish structures, you know, where they drop the spores through the pores. And I found that interesting because it felt a little bit like you can see a memory, like a genetic memory of that mushroom, the way it used to be before it evolved to have gills, because before the mushrooms evolved to have gills. I found that really interesting, you know. Sometimes, every now and then, you have a genetic defect that brings back a trait that has been forgotten, that is hidden somewhere way back in the genetic code of the plant, or, you know, of the person even. Sometimes a genetic defect brings back old traits that we lost during evolution. And yeah, I found that really interesting to see that kind of mushroom that I only knew with gills, and it had these pores. It was really interesting. And I feel like every now and then when you see something like that, it's like a window into time. A window into time before evolution has made them the way they are today, like what we have now. So yeah. In the future, I really need to do a more thorough cleaning of these seeds. It's just too much fruit material. If you have to do a second cleaning for all crosses, then then you save no time by doing it fast. So I will also pack a book order that I have. I wanna ship a book, and yeah, it always takes a little bit of work. Every book that I ship is hand signed. I have to number them. I started even stamping them, and it's so much work. But I started it, and now I want to finish it with this edition. You know, after this run, when all the books are sold, I'm done stamping books. But for now, I'm still doing it. So maybe I will do that later too. Yeah, because I want to ship out that book order that I have. Want to do a lot of the daily work that I do on stream in the future. Because it's a great way to just let the stream roll and show what I do normally during a normal work day. So yeah, okay. I guess we will need to clean these two. Second cleaning for these as well in the next day. Can't wait long with these. All that fruit material needs to go. Okay. Every time I do this in my bed, there's cactus seeds rolling around in my bed everywhere. So it might not be a bad thing that I'm doing it here. My whole shirt is full of seeds. Okay. All right. Okay. But this is a good cross. These are the kind of seeds that I really need to sow out or get to people. Okay, let's maybe do the book. Just gotta get it here. Okay, let's stamp this book. Okay, so I always have to like go to the pages and I check every book that I ship out because I want to make sure that it doesn't have a printing error, nothing like that. So I check every page. In the first, like when we did the crowdfunding, there were problems here and there, just with the printing error that we had. And every now and then, I find a book that is affected. So yeah, and then I stamp the book, and later I would sign it, and then I will wrap it up and send it on the way with DHL or something like that. Okay. And I hate that stamping of books. That is really that was the worst idea that I ever had, because every time I do it, I have green hands. Now I already have the stamp on my hands. It's just something. No matter how careful I am, I still have green on my hands from the stamp. So yeah, let me get the other book. I need to stamp another one. Okay, next one. Also got to check it on a regular basis. Every book needs to be checked. I haven't shipped the book in the last maybe 5 years or 6 years without checking it. If I miss something, then the customer is unhappy, and I don't want that. And I also, I would instantly send a replacement. I don't want to have unhappy customers. So yeah, best make sure it's perfect the first time, you know. So yeah, every book is checked, every page. In our first campaign, like when we did the very first edition of the book, I think there were maybe 50 books that had a printing error, but of course they are somewhere in between, so you always have to find them. So yeah, another stamp. What a bad idea. You know, imagine you got to stamp every single book and you can't stamp it right away. Because if you do that, then it smudges the pages. So you need to stamp it, put a paper towel on it, let it dry, and then later you take the paper towel out, you sign it and send it on the way. And they are hand numbered. So yeah, that is, you can imagine what time it takes. And next time I'm not doing it like that. These were it's great for the very first edition, that kind of stuff. But that's really it. Okay. So yeah, now I brought me this little box where I wanna let the seeds roll into. So this is the next cross. And I always try to scrape the seeds from the paper into the box. And they just roll into my little box that I have here. Okay. Yeah, and this works a lot easier than when you have a little piece of paper where you try to hit the paper. When you scrape the seeds off the kitchen paper onto this thing, there will always seeds that fall besides the whole thing. So sometimes when you have a little box where you can just brush them in, that makes it easier. Then you brush them into this little box, and then you put them on the piece of paper and put them in the bag. But yeah, cleaning seeds is a lot of work. I'm also doing it on stream, so you guys see how much work it actually is. It shows you all the steps that are involved in being a cactus breeder. Oh, there's chat. I didn't see that there's chat. I thought, guys, today the chat is really dead. I was really thinking, like, what's going on with this chat? And now I see that there are all these messages below. I'm sorry, guys, if I missed your questions before. It just like it. I looked at it and it was not moving, so I thought, okay, today maybe they're all sleeping, you know. So yeah, how to remove the fungus gnats? There's no way. There's no way to remove the fungus gnats. The fungus gnats are just. You would have to use real chemicals. Maybe a pesticide could do the trick, but it's really hard to apply a pesticide that only takes them out and not the seedlings. At that young age, it's very, very difficult. You cannot use neem oil. You might be able to use something like just the active ingredient in neem. There's a pesticide that has that. That could work. But overall, if you have fungus gnats, sometimes the only real way is to transplant the seedlings carefully, very carefully. Maybe we're doing that just to do it sometime soon in the next days. But it's really hard, and we will lose a few seedlings here and there. Okay, so let me see what fireworks. Dave was at a fireworks display. I'm sure. Did you record the video? I always used to film videos of fireworks and then never looked at them again. But yeah, hope you liked it. I mean, I'm not really doing doing fireworks anymore where I live because of the dog, and Mika gets so scared, and Snoopy was so scared, so I'm not really doing that anymore. Yeah, but I feel like maybe they can do it with drones in the future too. I've seen some cool stuff with that too. So yeah, hey mate, everyone who said hello. Hey Robert, I'm sorry I missed you all. I mean, I'm not sure how that chat feature functions. I'm still learning a little. I'm from Europe. I was born in Germany. Thanks about the beard. I mean, I'm trying to, I had when I didn't have the beard. It's also a thing because I'm not very like when you lose a lot of weight, sometimes it's better to have a beard, I have lost a lot of weight, good and bad kind of weight, I wasn't doing well before, had a lot of problems, health problems wise and all. So the beard helps with that. It doesn't, I don't know, it fits my face in a way. I wish I could grow a full beard. I've been trying to have a full beard, but it's really not going anywhere. This thing in front, I'm starting to look like one of the dwarfs from Lord of the Rings. But everything here on here isn't really growing. But yeah, I take it the way it is, I like that it's already gray, that I'm starting to already with the gray hair. I feel like I don't know, I don't see it as something bad when you have gray hair. I started to become gray when I was a young adult, and it's continued, My grandfather was gray as a young man too. That is something that's just a thing, but in our family, I guess. And personally, I like it. I feel it looks like it shows that I haven't lived easy. It shows that I've had a rough life sometimes, and I take that as a medal of some sort. Just some sort of, I'm still here. I have my scars. I have these gray hair that show me that life that life was just rough sometimes, that the stress made the hair go gray. But I take that as some sort of as some sort of a medal. I've earned still being here. It would have been easier to not hang around, So yeah, I take the gray hair, the gray beard and all. It's okay. Robert wrote that it's the first really cold night, -3 Celsius to -5. Whoa, that's cold. We just had frost tonight too, and the bathroom, it's really like when people are living in a house where in an abandoned house. It's like that with the window now. So I really need to get that fixed. It really bothers me with the window, because I don't know, everything is so much easier when you're rich, That is the kind of stuff where they don't talk about. Of course, poor people have the same have some sort, not the same chances, but they have chances to get out of it. But everything is just so much harder. Just to repair a window, when you are alone and don't have that kind of money, it's instantly all these tiny things that were not a problem when my parents had a lot of money. There was a point in my life when I was very young, when everything was going great. But after that, the moment I got older, things fell apart. And when I still remember the time when we had some money, and everything was so much easier. We had so many friends, like the kind of friends that hang around because they can mooch off you, because you're always, you're always paying for something. And the moment things aren't going great, there are very few friends that are still there with you when you are poor. And that can tell you a lot about real friends, like the people that are actually good inside, that are really the friends you should keep. The people who stick to you, who stick by your side when you are poor. These are the real friends that you need to stay in touch with. And it just shows like in a moment when you just have a window to repair, but you can't afford it. So now you don't have a window, you have a cold bathroom all the time, or you have a cold house all the time. And then you get sick, you know, it's like that cycle that just continues to get worse and worse. And that you don't have when you have a lot of money. You can just say, okay, let's fix the window, and that problem is gone. Never again a problem, you know. So yeah, it's really a huge thing to just get 3 people to fix that window, and that is my job this week. I will have a window repair guy here to fix the window, but I'm not sure if I can afford it. I just want to hear the opinion and want to hear if he can repair it, if he's willing to do it. And I guess he will not. I think they would just like replace it because it makes them more money, but we'll see. Oh man, I missed the whole chat. The seedlings are grown under the plant lamp. I will put the camera in there next time because I need to move out like the shelf and the thing that where I have the seedlings on, you know. But I will film it just to show you the plant lamp. It's just a regular grow thing. I put up a little grow tent and I have a shelf inside it, and there are the seedlings on it and the plant lamp above it. And that is all that I have. Just one of these reflective tents, because I spray the seedlings every now and then when they are bigger, and I don't want to have that fertilizer on my floor. So yeah, just get a tent because it allows it prevents that your floor, you know, I have wood floor here. I don't want to have the thing from the cacti soak into the base, because otherwise you are on a bad road, you know. So yeah, I'll film it in the next days, show you how it looks like. Yeah, Robert, look, about the books, I mean, I wouldn't be able to afford them myself at the time, and right now everyone's too poor to afford books, you know. So many people are currently broke just from the crazy inflation, and from, you know, a lot of people are currently just having barely enough to survive, you know. I know and understand. Greetings to India. Hey mate. So yeah, I totally understand, and I want to make them available as ebooks. I already started putting them up. Like, I wanted to convert them to Kindle, you know, to the Kindle format, but I couldn't find a software that can do it. So I would probably have to do it by hand, and it's a little bit more difficult, and I don't think I can upload them to Kindle the way they are now, because they were made for a large A4 sized book, you know, like that large sized book. So when I want to put them on Kindle, Amazon would probably say, no, we don't take that kind of stuff here. You need to put it in a Kindle format that it is readable on a Kindle device. And in order to make that happen, I first need to convert it. They have a software for that, and I used it, and it stopped, and it always, like, I don't know if it ran out of memory. It always failed to do it because the book is like 100 megabytes, 200 megabytes big. So that might be too big for the software. So I haven't found the perfect solution to just make the ebooks available fast. I would love to just put them on the platforms, but that will need a little bit of editing. And yeah, I felt like it should be easier to produce something in a Kindle format. I'm not sure why it is so hard. And when I put them as an ebook in my shop, which I also considered, but I'm worried that people are unhappy with them, because when they open them and it's made for a large book, and it doesn't really like is made for a mobile device. You know, very often these modern ebooks, they adapt to whatever kind of device you are using. And if I can't make that happen, then people might be unhappy. I don't want to have unhappy customers. So yeah, but I'm working on it. So the books will also come as ebooks. That is what I've taken out of this whole current problem with tariffs, and I want to make it available for my American friends. You know, I have so many friends in the United States, and I want them to be able to get those books. And right now, the tariffs make it very, very unaffordable, including with the high shipping costs and all. DHL charges €50 just to ship 2 books to the United States from Europe. And I find that offensive, really offensive. But I can't change it. They basically have a monopoly. They are the only company that ships them here. And I looked at UPS. UPS might do it, but there's no UPS anywhere here. UPS is mostly a thing in the United States. I mean, we have them here in bigger cities, but in the smaller township, not townships, but towns, you know, that isn't the case. We don't have UPS as often here as DHL, and DHL is becoming more expensive every year. The prices have gone up from €23 for a package for 2 books to the United States. They have doubled to almost $50 now for 2 books, and I find it really crazy. I really find it insane. So yeah, how's life in India right now? How's it going in India? It's a beautiful country, like beautiful landscape kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, but people are struggling, so a lot of struggle and hardship, I assume. But yeah, let me see what other comments came in. I look dirty? I would not agree. So yeah, I think I will probably have to block someone from the chat. Okay. So yeah, someone said I look kind of dirty. I disagree. I honestly disagree. But yeah, I mean, opinions differ, you know. But you see, that's I mean, I talked about not being rich, you know, not having a lot of money, and people treat you like you're dirty, you know. I mean, I'm kind of offended by that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, some people need to do that in order to feel better about themselves. It's okay. I understand. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, man. This is a positive stream. A lot of positive replies and all that. So yeah. But it happens. I guess it's a good sign to kind of reach a wider audience, you know. Kind of dirty. Huh. So yeah, let me see if the chat has been continuing to go. No. Okay, so now we will clean the next seeds. Yeah, I mean, it's trolling. I know how it is, but I will just filter them out long term. I need to get used to the moderator and everything, you know. But I mean, it's sad, you know. It's pathetic that people, because there's so much chance to use the internet for good, and this is the best they can come up with, you know. They use this miraculous invention, you know, that brings people together, where people from India can participate, people from the United States, Australia, and Europe, and the only thing they do is use it for bad, to make someone else feel bad, or you know, that should tell a lot about the problems today that we face. I really think that is a problem. I haven't seen a time when people were so mean to each other online, where people have been and there could be a positive force in the world. There's always something good to do. There's always people who are struggling, and are struggling to come from day to day to get out of bed in the morning, but they use this great invention to just I don't know, make someone feel bad about themselves. I don't see that. It's just, but yeah, I mean, what can you do? It just happens, I mean, in the future we will just block that, filter it out. But I sometimes talk about this kind of stuff. I mean, when I get a hate comment like last time, I talked about it because it's just part of doing something. You cannot do anything, no matter what you do. The moment you reach a wider audience, you will have people that are not kind, that are not really there to be positive. I mean, I know life is hard out there. I understand. I know sometimes it makes us feel better about themselves to make someone else feel worse. But look at it. You reach nothing. In the end of the day, you're still in the old life. And you've just made someone else a little bit sadder. Great work. So yeah, on this channel we try to be constructive, positive, because that is what I really miss on social media today. There was a time like when today you can look into every kind of subject, no matter what it is, and there will be the laugh reacts below it, the people just making fun of other people's misfortune. No matter what you talk about, it will always be the case. And that is something that I will never understand. I mean, I don't know if I ever went online to just make someone else feel worse about themselves. I don't think I ever did that. But I mean, I guess I understand the process behind it. When someone is so unhappy with themselves that they just look for something else to take their mind off it. So from that point, I understand. It's just sad. That's it. But yeah, so lots of seeds to clean. This is from a multi-hybrid by Uwe Kahle. I'm really not sure what kind of multi-hybrid. I really need to look into this. This year, I made a lot of crosses that I mostly made on camera for the channel, where just where I would have probably not made the cross, but I did it because I know that in the end we will have a lot of seeds that we can donate, that people can grow. So I did a lot of crosses, but I didn't really have. I wasn't really at the mind space to label every cross anymore this year. I was just not doing mentally so well, and so I have a lot of crosses where I just wrote something on the tag, and afterwards I forgot it again. But the seeds are all great, so they will still go to people, and they will love them eventually. We will be able to tell what it is when we see the flower or when we see the plant. But in the beginning, it might be just an unlabeled kind of hybrid. But yeah. So, but I really gotta say, so we did the stream in the last 2 weeks or so, and a little bit more than 2 weeks, and this was the first time that there was a situation where I felt like I have to block someone in the stream, and that was the first time. So that also tells a little bit about the user base that we have here. It's a little circle of friends right now, and I really like that. Today was one of the times where I really saw that the stream is getting more users than usually. So it's suddenly reaching people who have no idea who we are, and then it instantly starts with the need to moderate. So maybe long term I will get a moderator, something of that sort, you know. We'll see how we do it. I think that's an option. So in the next weeks we will maybe choose a few moderators to help a little bit with the chat. And yeah, but if you think about it, one troll comment in a few weeks, or a few troll comments in a few weeks, it isn't bad. I mean, if you count the ones in the comments, every couple of weeks or so, every 2 to 4 weeks, maybe there's a comment that is more like a troll comment, you know, or where there's something personal, like recently with that German guy who commented a few times with different accounts. Maybe I should talk to my wife about that. My soon-to-be ex-wife, if that is someone she might know. I'm not sure, you know. But every now and then when you get a comment like that, it's something personal. But yeah, we'll see. Hey Luke, mate, welcome again. I've just seen your comment. Yes, I remember. We've recently had a chat not too long ago. So yeah, thank you everyone who joined us. You know, I really want to go out of my way to say, just because there's a troll here and there, it doesn't, you know, most of the interactions that I have with the community are great. And yeah, I love that part about the community, you know. It's always a thing. The moment we reach out of the plant community, cactus community, and they're the mainstream audience, there's also the one odd troll here and there. It's not a problem. Yeah, Robert writing that the weather is kind of crazy, being 20 degree at one point, and -2 degree now. Yeah, I mean that's how it is here too. I mean, a couple of weeks ago it was so warm, or maybe just a few days ago I was still watering in the greenhouse because it was hot in there. It was like 25, 27 degrees Celsius in the greenhouse, and I used that to water a little bit. And yeah, I feel like we will have the way the weather changes long term, we will have longer seasons. The cactus season might be a little bit longer, especially inside a greenhouse. So yeah, if you have a greenhouse, that will give you a good month or two more season with the warmer weather. And but there's this constant change, you know. It will change from hot, then it will be cold again. I feel like we are no longer having that cold winter, you know, like it used to be, or with a lot of snow. I remember times with lots and lots of snow. And now where I live, if we get snow, we are lucky. Like if we get a year where we get a real kind of winter kind of snow, it happens rarely. And when it happens, it's maybe 2 weeks and then it's gone again. And in the past, we had that, like the seasons were kind of rougher. And I'm not complaining from the side of a cactus breeder. I'm complaining from the side where I see that it affects all wildlife here. It affects all the living things. Yeah. It also affected the cactus season because it's rained so much this year. So I kind of, I'm happy that it isn't so cold all the time, from the point of view of someone who never could afford the heating, you know. But I really, really believe that the weather is changing. I mean, a lot of people disagree. I can only tell you what I see here locally. And we've been flooded a few times in the last years. And that hasn't been a thing before like that, like it is now. We are getting to the point where a lot of insurance companies will no longer insure people living in certain areas. I'm lucky because I live on a hill. But the people who live down a little bit below, they might be in trouble with their insurance companies because they will no longer cover them. And I mean, that is a problem that we see in Florida. It wasn't like that before, you know? Like they are now at a point where so many places will become uninsurable unless we step in by law and create an insurance or make them or force these insurance companies to insure people. And yeah, it will be more expensive to insure them. So yeah, unfortunately, the weather is changing. And like the current summer, there were 1 or 2 months where the heat was unbearable, where I felt like I would not make it. Because where I live, we do not have air conditioning the way the Americans have. Americans are used to that a little bit more because they started putting in air conditionings in their buildings, and quite a while ago. Over here, we still don't have that yet, but it's becoming a thing now. We just had the point where the government discussed about the need for people to have air conditioning now, because it otherwise so many older people will not make it through summer. Summer has been so rough lately, and then we have a little bit of like 2 months of extreme heat, and then it's raining for 3 months again, and then maybe another month of heat, and that's it. You know, that was the summer. It isn't the way like a classic summer where you could actually enjoy it. You are either hiding inside from the sun, or you are hiding inside from the rain. The time when you can really enjoy it, that it has become a smaller window of time where you can really enjoy it. So yeah. Okay. Almost done with the seeds here. And next time I will have a different kind of text marker so I can label them live on air, because I just stapled them. And but yeah, we need to clean the seeds because I want to do a seed giveaway maybe on Christmas. We'll see how that goes. But I plan on doing something like that. I'm not sure where and how I will host it, you know, because I don't want to combine giving away seeds with the channel, because you never know, you know, if they are kind of, you know, like, I don't know. We're on YouTube, and I'm not sure how YouTube sees these kinds of things, so I will probably do it on another platform, but we will discuss it on the channel if there's a giveaway around Christmas. This year I might really do it. And I talked about it. I haven't done a Christmas giveaway on Facebook since maybe 2020, maybe longer. I did it every year, but at some point I felt like it was so much work, you know. It was a lot of work. I was burned out, and I felt like people aren't really. They took it for granted for a very long time, you know. So all that work went into doing the giveaway and shipping the stuff and asking people to join the giveaway. I often had to ask other breeders, people who also wanted to donate seeds, and it ended up with a huge amount of time that I was busy in December. And yeah, then people weren't shipping what they had promised that they wanted to ship in the Christmas giveaway. So I was having a lot of work just making sure that everyone who won something in a Christmas giveaway for free, you know, not with pay, but just for free. But I had to make sure that they are getting it, and it was so much work that I stopped doing it, you know. But I consider doing it again this year. Would be the first time in forever. Would be a huge thing for me, but I'm still not sure. It will depend how I'm doing on Christmas. because Christmas, like when Christmas is coming, I mean, you know, it's all that family celebration, and I'm not really in that kind of mindset right now. Getting divorced soon, you know, getting divorced around Christmas, maybe. I'm not sure when the divorce will happen. But if I will get divorced around the Christmas time, I might not do a Christmas gift. We'll see how it goes, you know. I don't know. I'm just glad when it's over a little bit. So yeah. Yesterday, I guess I saw the first Christmas movies on television. Everything is gearing up for Christmas already, and I already don't like it. Okay. So yeah, we cleaned quite a bunch of seeds. Most of them will be clean enough to bag them up tomorrow. And we will do that on camera again. I want to do this seed cleaning stuff too. Because it allows me to do the work on channel while we do the stream, so I can reply. So I can always get back to questions and all. And yeah. It's great for the time when no question is coming in. Gives me a little bit of stuff to do. So I'm just not sitting here, you know. So yeah. Okay, so this is a good cross, by the way. This was a cross between Gräsers Erfolg Selbstbestäubung and Cantora. Very, very ruffled. Very good kind of cross. So yeah. Might have to change the camera very soon. Switch to the other camera. And yeah, in that case, the video quality will probably get better too. We'll see how it goes. I need to change the card, put the new card into put the old card into the new phone and the new card into the old one. How do I deal with the algae on the soil in a closed container? You can remove it, and you probably have to. If you have anything green that is growing around the seedlings, you either have to transplant them, completely transplant them, or remove whatever is growing around them, because otherwise it will overgrow the seedling, because that stuff just grows faster. I don't know why. It just has some species of moss and algae have the ability to grow fast, and they will often overgrow the seedlings very fast. So either remove it manually, and that works very well often. You can just pick it up and remove it around the seedlings. That works very often. And if that doesn't work, transplanting them in a new container. Transplanting is often, if nothing else works, that is the solution that I approach. And it also has risks, because you transplant little tiny cactus seedlings with tiny roots. And yeah, it just happens. But you will lose that one seedling here and there, but the transplanting them is still the best choice in that case, when you cannot remove it. Sometimes the top layer of soil is just done, you know. It's at a spot where you cannot save it, because the pH level has become uninhabitable, you know, like where nothing can grow there. And you would have to check the pH level, but you can already tell when the soil looks green, when the soil starts looking like it's more like a swamp. In that case, removing everything, transplanting into another container is the safest way. And in general, the more often you transplant seedlings when something is wrong, the more likely you will get them to adulthood. Really, that is one of the recommendations that Reinhard Liske gave me when I was talking with him about that. He transplants his seedlings very often, and that means they are often in good soil, and by doing that you avoid that something is in a bad soil for too long and where you lose it. Sometimes you are starting to lose seedlings and you do not know why, but then you look at the pH level, and the pH level was probably off for weeks or months, and the fact that you lost the seedlings was just a logical reaction to the wrong pH level. Sometimes when you constantly water, constantly fertilize, you can mess up the pH level. So it can be necessary to transplant. So yeah, hope this helps. And yeah, if there aren't any more questions, I will probably end the stream soon. The phone it hasn't shown me a warning yet, but it will probably happen within the next minutes. So anyone who wants to write something now I'm getting the warning that I'm down to like 15% charging left. So yeah, if you have anything to want to write in the chat, do it now. Any questions? I'm happy to take one more or so, and then I gotta move on. But I'll be back later or tomorrow, and tomorrow we will label all the seeds that we're cleaning. We'll make it a little bit easier. When you're using these kinds of bags, you cannot write with pencil on them. So I need to have a fine liner or some kind of marker of some sort. I'm not sure. Something very fine that allows me to write on the label. And yeah, we will do that tomorrow. Clean more seeds. And the next time I'm working outdoors, I will take the camera with me. Thank you, mate. I'm sorry, everyone, that I missed so many of the questions while they were happening. I'm in some way, I'm younger. I was born in the 80s, but in some aspects, I behave like someone who has never seen new technology before. I don't know what it is, but at a certain point, you become, it becomes harder for you to learn new stuff. So I didn't even notice that the chat was running below. So yeah, I'm happy to take more questions like that I maybe missed today. Again tomorrow, like if you have a question, write it into the comments of the videos. Today I will post more videos from the last years, so we can grow a little, so the channel can grow over winter. And in the next days, we will also live stream from outdoors. We will have to just cut brushes around the greenhouses again, take down little trees. And it will be hard because I'm completely, I've had a few Lyme disease stuff. I'm very bad at working, like taking down trees, but we have to do it because there's no one here who will do it for us. So it might be funny, every now and then I might like fall off the tree, whatever. I'm sure it will be great for the live stream. So we will do that too. I will do it in a safe way. I try to land safely so that there's no harm done. But I'm sure when I'm streaming outdoors, it will be unintentionally hilarious. So yeah, okay, guys, thank you for joining the stream, and I'll be back later tomorrow morning. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate everyone who comes every morning to join us in this time. All right, take care, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you.